The fluorescent lights of Mel's diner buzzed like dying insects, casting everything in sickly yellow. My feet screamed inside shoes held together with duct tape and prayer. Shift 1 of 3, 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then the cleaning service from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Then Vincenzo's until close. Every day. Every single day. I refilled coffee for truckers who didn't look up, wiped down tables that would be dirty again in 10 minutes, smiled at people who looked through me like I was glass. Invisible. That's what poverty made you, a ghost haunting your own life. "Ara, table 6 needs ketchup," Mel barked from the kitchen window. I nodded, grabbed the bottle, delivered it. The trucker grunted. "No thank you, no tip later." Never was. My phone buzzed in my apron pocket, another past due notice. Mum's medical bills didn't care that she was dead. The debt lived on, hungry and patient. $16,000. Might as well be 16 million. The morning crawled. By 1 p.m. I'd made $43. Minus bus fare, minus the protein bar I'd eat for lunch. $38 closer to drowning, slightly slower. The cleaning service was worse. Office buildings downtown, scrubbing toilets for people who made my yearly salary in a week. I moved through chrome and glass like a shadow, emptying trash bins full of half-eaten lunches that cost more than my dinner. But I kept moving. Because stopping meant thinking. Thinking meant breaking. By 6:30 p.m., I stood outside Vincenzo's, smoothing my server uniform. This job was different. Upscale. The kind of place where appetizers cost $50, and people spoke in hushed tones about things that mattered to them. Stocks. Vacations. Problems that weren't really problems. I tied my apron, checked my reflection in the darkened window. Hollow eyes stared back. When had I started looking so tired? When had 26 started feeling like 40? "You're late, Marco," the manager said as I entered. Not true. I was 3 minutes early. But Marco enjoyed small cruelties. "Sorry," I said automatically. "Always apologize. Keep your head down. Stay invisible." The restaurant glowed with warm amber light. Candles flickered on white tablecloths. Classical music drifted from hidden speakers. It was beautiful. A world I served but would never belong to. I took my section. Tables 10 through 15. Table 12 was marked reserved, like it had been every night for the past 3 months. It sat empty most shifts. A ghost reservation. When I'd asked Marco about it, he'd snapped that it wasn't my concern. Tonight felt different. The air held strange tension, like the moment before a thunderstorm. I delivered bread, poured water, smiled until my face ached, and then I felt it. The weight of being watched. Not the casual glance of a customer needing service, but something heavier. Focused. Predatory. I turned slowly. Table 12 was no longer empty. He sat alone, though the table was set for 4. Charcoal suit that probably cost more than my annual rent. Dark hair styled back from a face that belonged in magazines. Sharp jawline. Roman nose. And eyes, his blue eyes that tracked me with unnerving intensity. Our gazes locked, my breath caught. He smiled. Slow, knowing. I looked away quickly. Pulse hammering. Professional. Stay professional. I grabbed a water pitcher and approached, mentally rehearsing my greeting. "Good evening. Welcome to Ara Monroe," he said. His voice carried a slight accent. Italian, maybe. Smooth as expensive whiskey. 26 years old. Lives at 2847 West Irving Park Road, apartment 4B. Works here, at Spotless Office Solutions, and Mel's Diner on Route 41. The pitcher nearly slipped from my hands. Ice water sloshed against the rim. "How?" my voice cracked. "How do you know my name?" He leaned back, utterly relaxed while my world tilted. "Sit down, Ara. We need to talk. I'm working. I can't, Marco," he called without raising his voice. Somehow my manager appeared instantly, practically bowing. "The lady will be taking her break now." "Of course, Mr. Moretti. Whatever you need." Marco shot me a look that said, "Obey, or you're fired." The man Moretti gestured to the chair across from him. Please. My legs moved without permission. I sat, hands trembling in my lap. Up close, he was devastating. Beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. The kind of man who moved through the world knowing it would bend for him. I've known everything about you for 6 months, Ara, he said quietly, those blue eyes never leaving mine. Where you work, where you live, how you take your coffee, that you walk home alone at 2 a.m. to save bus fare, that you donated plasma twice last month until it made you too weak to stand your shifts. Horror washed through me in cold waves. You've been stalking me. Watching you, he corrected. It's a difference. That's insane. I'm calling the police. His hand moved across the table, not touching me, but close enough that I felt the heat of his skin. Tonight, that changes. Tonight, everything changes. What are you talking about? Dante Moretti smiled again, and something in that smile promised beautiful, terrible things. You'll see, very soon. 3 men arrived within minutes. They moved like Dante-controlled, dangerous, wearing violence beneath expensive suits. They flanked table 12, transforming it into something else. Not a dinner reservation, a war room. Marco seated them personally, hands shaking slightly. I watched from the server station, trying to calm my racing heart. Every instinct screamed at me to run. But where? Dante Moretti knew where I lived, knew my routine. Had been watching me for 6 months. 6 months. How had I not noticed? But I knew the answer. Exhaustion made you blind. Poverty made you invisible, even to yourself. Ara. Marco appeared beside me, face pale. You're serving table 12 tonight. Everything they want. Anything they want. Don't screw this up. Who is he? I whispered. Marco's jaw tightened. Someone who owns half this city. Be smart. Be invisible. But Dante had made it clear I was anything but invisible to him. I approached the table with a wine list, hands steadier than I felt. The 3 men spoke in rapid Italian, voices low. I caught fragments. Shipment, Thursday, the docks, Kozlov. Names and places that meant nothing to me but felt weighted with consequence. Dante looked up as I arrived. The Barolo, 2015. Excellent choice, I managed. Professional mask firmly in place. I returned with the bottle, crystal glasses arranged perfectly on my tray. The men barely acknowledged me, deep in conversation that had shifted to Russian. One of them, grey at the temples, scar bisecting his eyebrows, bred blueprints across the table. Architectural drawings marked with annotations I couldn't read. My hands trembled as I began pouring. Exhaustion made them worse. 14 hours of work. 2 more shifts before this one. My vision blurred at the edges. Just get through this. Pour the wine, collect the tip, go home. I reached across to fill the scarred man's glass. My elbow bumped the bottle. Time slowed, horror crystallizing as I watched deep red wine arc through the air. It splashed across the blueprints. Across Dante's white shirt cuff. Across the table in an expanding crimson stain that looked horribly like blood. The restaurant went silent. Even the classical music seemed to pause. I'm so sorry. The words tumbled out in a rush. I'm so sorry. I'll get napkins. I'll pay for cleaning. The scarred man stood abruptly, chair scraping loud against marble floor. Clumsy little Luca. 1 word from Dante. Soft as silk. Sharp as a blade. Luca's mouth snapped shut. He sat down slowly, but his eyes promised violence. I grabbed napkins with shaking hands, trying desperately to blot the wine. The blueprints were ruined, ink running, whatever information they contained now destroyed. Tears burned behind my eyes. I couldn't lose this job. I couldn't afford to lose this job. I'm sorry, I whispered again. I'll work for free. I'll do anything. Dante's hand caught my wrist. His grip was gentle, but immovable. Stop. I froze, looking up into those ice-blue eyes. He studied my face for a long moment. Then he smiled. Slow. Dangerous. Beautiful. Perfect, he said quietly. Now we don't have to do this the complicated way. I don't understand. He stood in one fluid motion, releasing my wrist to pull out his wallet. He extracted what looked like several $100 bills and dropped them on the table without counting. "Marco," he called. My manager materialized instantly. "Miss Monroe is leaving with me." The world tilted. What? No. I have 3 more hours. Not anymore. Dante's hand found the small of my back. Possessive. Claiming. "Get your things. I can't just leave. I need this job. You don't need anything anymore." He leaned close, voice dropping to a whisper only I could hear. "You can walk out with me, Ara, or I'll carry you. Either way, you're mine now. I've waited 6 months for an excuse. Don't make me regret being patient." Marco appeared with my purse, my jacket, practically shoving them into my hands. "Go," he hissed. "Don't make trouble." The 3 men stood, forming a wall of suits and muscle. Dante's hand remained on my back, guiding me toward the exit. Customers averted their eyes. Staff disappeared into the kitchen. We were in the parking lot before I found my voice again. "You can't do this. This is kidnapping." I ran. Made it maybe 10 feet before Dante caught me. One arm around my waist, pulling me back against his chest, his breath warm against my ear. "I've waited 6 months, Tesoro," he murmured. "Watched you struggle. Watched you suffer. Watched you slowly disappear into exhaustion. Tonight, that ends. Please, tonight you become visible. To me. Only me." A black car pulled up. Tinted windows. The back door opened like a mouth. "Get in the car, Ara." And surrounded by his men, with nowhere to run and no one to help, I did. I woke to sunlight burning through unfamiliar windows. Floor-to-ceiling glass overlooking water that stretched to the horizon. Lake Michigan. I was still in Chicago, but high above it, removed from the city, I knew the bed was enormous. Egyptian cotton sheets. Pillows that felt like clouds. I sat up slowly, head pounding, and realized I wasn't wearing my uniform anymore. Silk pajamas, cream-colored, my exact size. Panic hit like ice water. I threw off the covers, stumbled to the door. Locked. Of course it was locked. I tried the windows. They didn't open. Reinforced glass. I was 3 stories up anyway, judging by the view. The bedroom was larger than my entire apartment. Minimalist furniture in shades of grey and white. Abstract art on the walls. A door led to a bathroom with marble counters and a shower big enough for 4 people. Another door revealed a walk-in closet full of clothes, women's clothes, all in my size. Designer labels I recognized from magazines I couldn't afford. Jeans, sweaters, dresses, shoes arranged by color. How long had he been planning this? The main door clicked. I spun around, grabbing the closest thing I could use as a weapon, a decorative glass sculpture from the nightstand. Dante entered carrying a tray. Breakfast. The scent of coffee and fresh pastries filled the room. He looked different in morning light, still devastating, still dangerous, but almost domestic in dark slacks and a white shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows. "Good morning, Ara." His voice was warm, casual, like this was normal. "Let me out." My voice shook despite my best efforts. He set the tray on a side table. Put down the sculpture. Murano glass. Irreplaceable. "I'll smash it. Then you'll have one less beautiful thing. In your new home." He moved to the windows, utterly unconcerned by my threat. "Eat. We need to talk. I'm not hungry. You're always hungry." He turned, those blue eyes pinning me in place. "I've watched you skip meals to save money. Watched you choose between food and bus fare. That ends now." I lowered the sculpture slowly. "Why am I here?" "Because you're not safe anywhere else." "That's insane. I'm a nobody." "I serve coffee and clean toilets. You're Lila Moreau's daughter." He said it quietly. Watching my reaction, my mother's name from his lips felt like a violation. Don't talk about her. Your mother witnessed something 6 years ago. A meeting between the Moretti family and the Kozlov Bratva. It ended badly. 3 men died. Lena was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but she saw faces, heard names. My legs felt weak. I sat on the edge of the bed. She never said anything. Never told anyone. I know. Dante crossed to me, crouched down so we were eye level, and Lena kept silent. Protected herself. Protected you. But she knew, and certain people don't forget that. She died of cancer. She's been dead for 8 months, which is why they're coming for you now. His hand moved slowly, giving me time to pull away, and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. They believe she told you something before she died. Names, locations, evidence. She didn't. She was delirious. She didn't even recognize me at the end. My voice cracked. I believe you. But Alexei Kozlov doesn't care. He wants to tie up loose ends. You're a loose end. Horror crawled up my spine. So you kidnapped me. How is that better? Dante stood, moved to the side table, and pulled out a tablet. He tapped the screen a few times, then handed it to me. This is how it's better. I looked down. Photographs. Dozens of them. Me at Mel's diner pouring coffee, me walking home in the dark, me at the laundromat, me counting bills at my kitchen table, face exhausted and defeated. I scrolled. More photos. Different angles. Different days. Timestamps going back months. 6 months, I whispered. I needed to be sure. He took the tablet back. Sure, you were worth protecting. Sure, you were who I thought you were. And what did you think I was? His expression softened slightly. Someone who deserved better than slowly dying from exhaustion. Someone strong enough to survive in my world. I don't want to survive in your world. I want to go home. Your apartment has been emptied. Lease terminated. Bills paid. You don't have a home to go back to. The room spun. You can't just erase my life. I didn't erase it. I replaced it. He gestured to the windows, the view, the luxury surrounding us. This is your life now. Safe, protected, mine. I'm not yours. The door burst open. A man I didn't recognize. One of Dante's spoke rapid Italian. Dante's expression went cold, hard. He turned to me. Stay here. Don't go near the windows. What's happening? They found you. He pulled a gun from somewhere I hadn't seen, checked the magazine with practiced efficiency. They're here. Gunfire cracked through the silence. 3 shots. Then silence thicker than before. I pressed myself against the wall beside the window, heart hammering so hard I thought my ribs might crack. This wasn't real. Couldn't be real. People didn't shoot at penthouses in Chicago. This was a nightmare born from exhaustion, and another shot. Closer. The door locked from the outside. I heard it click. Dante had trapped me in here. Protected me or imprisoned me. I couldn't tell the difference anymore. Minutes crawled past. Hours. Time lost meaning when you were waiting to die. Finally, the lock clicked again. I grabbed the Murano sculpture, ready to throw it at whoever entered. Dante stepped through. Blood spattered his white shirt. A cut split his eyebrow, trickling red down his temple. But he was alive, solid, real. Are you hurt? His eyes scanned me quickly, professionally. No. Are you? Not my blood. Mostly. He crossed to the bathroom, began washing his hands in the sink. Red swirled down the drain. It's 3 men. Kozlov sent them to confirm you were here. They won't be reporting back. The casual way he said it made my stomach turn. You killed them. Yes. Just like that? He looked at me through the mirror. They came to kill you, Ara. Would you prefer I'd invited them in for coffee? I set down the sculpture with shaking hands. This is insane. Can't live like this. You'll adjust. He dried his hands on a white towel that came away pink. Most people do. I'm not most people. I know. Something in his voice made me look up. Most people would be hysterical right now. You're angry. There's a difference. He was right. I was angry. Furious, actually. At him for taking me. At my mother for witnessing something that would haunt me from her grave. At the universe for making my life a series of impossible choices. I want to see outside this room, I said. If I'm going to be your prisoner, I at least want to see my cage. Dante studied me for a long moment, then nodded. Come. He led me through the penthouse. It was massive. Opened concept living area with leather furniture and chrome accents. Kitchen, with appliances I'd only seen in magazines, another bedroom, an office with walls of books. And everywhere windows. Floor-to-ceiling views of the city I'd lived in, but never really seen from this height. Biometric locks on every door, he explained. Bulletproof glass. Security cameras in every common area except your bedroom and bathroom. My men patrol the building 24 hours. So I'm safe, I said flatly. As long as I never leave. For now. I turned to face him. How long is for now? Until the Bratva backs off. Until I can negotiate a truce. Until he stopped. Until what? Until I'm certain you'll stay without the locks. The admission hung between us. He didn't just want to protect me. He wanted to keep me. There was a difference. Why? I asked quietly. You said you watched me for 6 months. Why? I'm nobody. Just a tired waitress who can barely pay rent. You think that's what I saw? He moved closer, not threatening, but intense. I saw a woman serving coffee at 5 a.m. with bruises under her eyes from exhaustion, and she still smiled. Still said please and thank you to truckers who treated her like furniture. I saw you clean offices at 3 p.m., scrubbing toilets on your hands and knees, and you did it perfectly. Not because anyone was watching, but because you have pride. Standards. Even when you're invisible. His hand rose slowly, cupping my cheek. I should pull away. Should slap him. Should do anything but stand there, feeling the warmth of his palm against my skin. I saw you walk home alone at 2 a.m. through neighborhoods where women disappear, and I followed you, every night, making sure you made it safely. I saw you count your money at your kitchen table, deciding between electricity and food. And you chose electricity because you're practical. Survival over comfort. That's not special, I whispered. That's just poverty. No, that's strength. His thumb traced my cheekbone. I've known hundreds of people, Ara. Criminals, politicians, socialites. Most would crumble under a fraction of what you carry. You don't crumble, you endure. And somewhere around month 2 of watching you endure, I realized I didn't just want to protect you. What did you want? His eyes ice blue and burning held mine. I wanted you to be mine. The penthouse alarm shrieked. Dante's expression went cold instantly, hand dropping from my face to the gun at his hip. Again, I breathed. They're persistent. He grabbed my wrist, pulling me toward the bedroom. This time, stay away from the windows. Don't come out until I come get you. Dante. He kissed me, hard, claiming. Then he was gone, locking the door behind him, leaving me alone with the sound of gunfire and the ghost of his lips on mine. This time the silence afterward lasted longer. I sat on the bed, knees pulled to my chest, listening to muffled voices through the door. Italian, Russian, English, all sharp with tension. When Dante finally returned, it was past midnight. No blood this time, but exhaustion lined his face. He looked older in the low light filtering through the windows, more human. They're gone, he said quietly, locking the door behind him. For now. How many? 5. He moved to the window, staring out at the glittering city below. Kozlov is escalating. He won't stop until he has you or confirmation you're dead. Fear should have paralyzed me. Instead, I felt something else. Clarity, maybe, or resignation. So what happens now? I stay locked in here forever while you fight a war over me. I'm working on a solution. What kind of solution? He didn't answer. Just stood there, silhouette dark against the lights of Chicago. Something about his posture, shoulders tight, hands fisted at his sides, looked almost vulnerable. I stood slowly, crossed to him. Dante. You should hate me, he said without turning. You should be screaming, fighting, trying to escape every second. Instead, you're asking me questions, trying to understand. Why? I considered lying, considered all the reasonable answers. Instead, I told the truth. Because for the first time in years, I'm not invisible. He turned then, those ice-blue eyes finding mine in the darkness. I've been invisible my whole life, I continued. To my father, who left when I was 6. To my mother, who loved me but was always working, always tired, always somewhere else. To every customer, every boss, every person who looked through me like I was glass. And then you, my voice caught. You saw me. Really saw me. Even if the reason is twisted. Even if it's obsession or possession or whatever you want to call it. You see me, Era? Why me? The question that had been burning since the restaurant finally escaped. You're powerful, rich. You could have anyone. Why watch a broke waitress for 6 months? Why risk your position, your organization, your life for someone like me? Dante's jaw tightened. For a long moment, I thought he wouldn't answer. Then he moved to the bar cart near the window, poured 2 glasses of amber liquid. He handed me one. Drink, you'll need it. I took a sip. Scotch. Expensive, smooth, burning down my throat. 6 months and 2 weeks ago, he began, voice low. I went to Mel's diner. Business meeting. Nothing important. I was early, so I sat at the counter. And you came over to take my order. I searched my memory. Couldn't find him there. Too many faces. Too many shifts. You asked if I wanted coffee. I said yes. You poured it, smiled, not your fake customer service smile, but a real one, and said, "Rough morning?" I must have looked tired. I'd been up for 36 hours dealing with a shipment issue. He took a long drink. I said yes. And you said, "Me too." But we're still here. That counts for something. My breath caught. I remembered that. Not him, but the words. Something I'd said without thinking, just trying to be kind. You moved on to other customers. I watched you work. You were exhausted. I could see it in every movement. But you never stopped being human. Never stopped seeing the people you served, even when they didn't see you. And when your shift ended, you didn't leave. You stayed an extra hour because another server called in sick. That's not special. That's just being decent. Exactly. He set down his glass. In my world, decency is rare. Kindness without agenda is almost non-existent. And there you were, running yourself into the ground, being kind to strangers who didn't deserve it, expecting nothing in return. It broke something in me. He stepped closer, close enough that I felt the heat radiating from him. I had you investigated, found out about your mother, about the medical debt, about the 3 jobs and the plasma donations, and how you walked home alone through dangerous streets because you couldn't afford a cab. And I realized you were drowning. Slowly, invisibly, and no one was coming to save you. So you decided to save me by kidnapping me. I decided to save you by making you mine. His hand rose, fingers threading through my hair. I'm not a good man, Ara. I've done terrible things. I'll do more terrible things. But I'm honest about what I am. I wanted you. The protection was convenient. The Bratva threat made it necessary. But even without that, his forehead touched mine. I would have taken you eventually, because I don't do halfway. When I want something, I take it. And I've wanted you since you've poured that coffee and reminded me that being human counts for something. My heart thundered against my ribs. That's not love. That's obsession. I know, his thumb traced my lower lip. Does that change how you feel right now? It should. It absolutely should. But standing there, his breath warm against my skin, the truth crystallized, sharp and undeniable. I didn't want to run anymore. No, I whispered. It doesn't. He kissed me then, not claiming this time, but asking. And when I kissed him back, threading my fingers through his hair, pulling him closer, I felt the cage dissolve. Not because the locks opened, but because I was choosing to stay. Morning came too quickly. I woke wrapped in Dante's arms, his heartbeat steady against my back. For a moment, one perfect, fragile moment, everything felt normal, safe. Then his phone rang. He tensed immediately, the shift from sleep to alertness instantaneous. He reached for the phone on the nightstand, checked the screen, and his expression went cold. I need to take this. He slipped from the bed, already moving toward the door. Dante, he held up one finger. Wait. He stepped into the hallway. I heard his voice, low and sharp. Italian at first, then Russian. The tone made my skin prickle. Something was wrong. I got up, pulled on the silk robe draped over a chair, and moved closer to the door. I shouldn't eavesdrop, but this was my life now. My danger. I had a right to know. Don't care what he's asking. The answer's no. Dante's voice carried an edge I hadn't heard before. Raw. Almost desperate. Find another way. A pause. Then, Lucia's supposed to be untouchable. She's civilian. She has nothing to do with... Another pause. Longer. When? The silence that followed felt like falling. When Dante returned, his face was carved from stone, but I saw the cracks beneath. Fear. Real fear. What happened? I asked. He moved to the window, hands braced against the glass. They took my sister. My heart stopped. Who? Kozlov's men. 2 hours ago. From her apartment near Northwestern. His voice was flat, controlled, but his knuckles were white. She was supposed to be protected. I kept her separate from all of this. She doesn't even know what I really do. I crossed to him slowly. What do they want? He turned. Those ice-blue eyes met mine, and the answer was there before he spoke. You, in exchange for Lucia. I have 24 hours to deliver you to them, or they start sending pieces of her back to me. The room tilted. I gripped the window frame for support. Oh God, I won't do it. He said it with absolute certainty. I'll find another way. I have men searching right now. We'll locate where they're holding her. Dante, I cut him off. How old is she? 22. Does she have a family? Kids? No, she's in grad school. Psychology. She wants to work with trauma survivors. His voice cracked slightly on the last word. I thought about my mother. How she'd worked herself to death trying to keep us afloat. How I'd been helpless, watching her fade, unable to save her. Let me go to them. No. Immediate. Absolute. She's innocent. So are you. I'm the one they want. I'm the reason she was taken. My voice rose. You can't let someone die because of me. I can't. The words caught in my throat. I can't be responsible for another death. Dante grabbed my shoulders. Listen to me! What Kozlov will do to you. It won't be quick. He'll torture you for information you don't have. He'll make it last. Days. Maybe weeks. And when he finally accepts you don't know anything, he'll kill you anyway. Slowly. As a message to me. But Lucia will be safe. You don't know that. He might kill her anyway. He might kill both of you. His grip tightened. I won't trade you. I won't lose you. You barely know me. I've known you for 6 months. I know how you take your coffee. I know you hum when you think no one's listening. I know you cry in the shower so no one hears. I know you're the strongest person I've ever met, and you don't even see it. He pulled me closer. I know losing you would destroy me. Tears burned my eyes. And losing your sister won't? He flinched like I'd struck him. There has to be another way, he said. But he sounded less certain. I pulled back, wiping my eyes. What if there isn't? What if it's her or me? Then I choose you. No hesitation. Every time. That's not fair. I don't care about fair. I care about keeping you alive. An idea formed. Terrible. Terrifying. Possibly suicidal. But maybe the only way to save everyone. What if, I said slowly, I go to them, but not alone? What if we make them think they've won, but it's a trap? Dante's expression shifted. You're talking about using yourself as bait. I'm talking about giving them what they want while you get what you want, Lucia back, me alive. Kozlov. I swallowed hard. Kozlov dealt with. Absolutely not. Do you have a better plan? The silence that followed told me everything. "We could wire you," he said finally, reluctantly. "Have men surrounding the location. But if anything goes wrong, if they find the wire, if my men can't get to you in time, then at least we tried." I took his hand. "And at least your sister lives." He stared at me for a long moment, then pulled me against him, face buried in my hair. "If anything happens to you," he whispered, "I will burn their world to ash." "I know," I said. "That's why I'm not afraid." I was lying. I was terrified. The warehouse smelled like rust and rotting wood. Lake Michigan lapped against the docks outside, rhythmic and indifferent to what was about to happen. My hands were zip-tied in front of Medante's idea to make it look real. The wire taped between my breasts felt like a brand burning against my skin. "You don't have to do this." Dante had said it 17 times during the drive. Now, standing in the shadows outside the warehouse, he said it again. "We can find another way. There is no other way. I tried to sound brave. Failed. How do I look?" He studied me. I'd been roughed up, carefully make up to create bruises, my lips split with movie magic, clothes torn just enough. A kidnap victim delivered as promised. Terrified, he said quietly, "Perfect." 4 of his men surrounded us, invisible in the darkness. More positioned on rooftops, in vehicles, waiting for his signal. An army ready to move, but they had to wait until Lucia was clear, until I was inside and they confirmed she was alive. So much could go wrong. "The wire is working," Luca said, the scarred man from the restaurant. He handed Dante an earbud. "We'll hear everything." Dante stepped closer, cupped my face with both hands. "At the first sign of trouble, before they even touch you, I'm coming in. Do you understand, Lucia first? You first. You first." He kissed me, hard and desperate. "I'll get you both out. I swear it." A black SUV pulled up. Headlights cut through the darkness. This was it. "I'm ready," I lied. Dante's jaw tightened, but he stepped back. Luca grabbed my arm, playing his part, and dragged me toward the warehouse entrance. The doors opened. Lights spilled out, harsh and fluorescent. Inside, 10 men, maybe more, all armed, all watching me with expressions that ranged from curiosity to hunger. And in the center, sitting in a chair like a throne, Alexei Kozlov. He was older than I expected. 60, maybe. Silver hair swept back from a face that had once been handsome but now carried too much cruelty. His eyes were chips of grey ice, dead eyes, shark eyes. Ara Monroe. He spoke English with a thick Russian accent. Elena's little girl, all grown up. Luca shoved me forward. I stumbled, caught myself, kept my head down, submissive, defeated. "Where's Lucia?" I asked, voice shaking. "Not acting." Alexei snapped his fingers. 2 men disappeared through a side door, returned dragging a young woman between them. Lucia Moretti looked like her brother. Same dark hair, same sharp features. But where Dante was all cold control, she was fire. Even bloodied and bound, she fought, kicked, snarled curses in Italian. "Lucia." The name escaped before I could stop it. Her head snapped up, eyes widening. "Who the hell are you?" "The trade," Alexei said, standing slowly. He was tall, broader than I'd thought. "Miss Moretti goes free. Miss Monroe stays. Fair exchange, yes?" "Let her go first," I said. "You negotiate." He laughed. "You have no power here, little girl. Then what's stopping you from killing us both?" The laughter died. He moved closer, circling me like a predator. "Smart, like your mother. She was smart too. Stayed quiet for 6 years. I almost believed she'd take her secrets to the grave. She did. She never told me anything." His hands shot out, gripping my jaw, forcing me to meet his eyes. "We'll see. People always break eventually. The trick is knowing which tools to use." Behind him, I saw Lucia being dragged toward the door. They were letting her go. The plan was working. "My men say Dante Moretti has been protecting you," Alexei continued, releasing my jaw to circle again. "Keeping you locked in his penthouse like a pet." Tell me, did he touch you? Did you spread your legs for him, hoping he'd keep you safe? Rage flared, burning through fear. He's more of a man than you'll ever be. The slap came fast. Pain exploded across my cheek, real this time, not makeup. I tasted blood. There's the fire, Alexei smiled. Good. I like it when they fight. A door slammed. Lucia was out. Safe. Now. I screamed into the wire. The windows exploded inward. Glass rained down like deadly snow. Dante's men poured through, repelling, shooting, moving with military precision. Chaos erupted. Gunfire, shouting, bodies dropping. Hands grabbed me from behind. I screamed, thrashing. A knife appeared near my throat, and then Dante was there. He moved like violence personified. Broke the man's arm in one motion. The knife clattered away. Another shot. The man fell. Dante pulled me behind him. Gun raised, firing with cold accuracy. 1, 2, 3. Men dropped. Alexei was running toward the back exit. Stay down, Dante ordered, then gave chase. I crouched behind a crate, hands still zip-tied, heart hammering. The firefight raged around me. 30 seconds, maybe less, but it felt like hours. Then silence. Dante returned, smoke curling from his gun barrel. Blood spattered his face, his clothes. But alive. Whole. He knelt beside me, cutting the zip ties with trembling hands. Are you hurt? No. Lucia's safe. Luca has her. He pulled me into his arms, face buried in my neck. Never again. You never risk yourself again. I held him just as tightly, feeling his heart race against mine. What about Alexei? Dante pulled back. His eyes held no mercy. He won't be a problem anymore. The penthouse felt different when we returned. Not safer, just quieter. The kind of quiet that follows violence, heavy with ghosts. Lucia sat on the leather sofa, wrapped in a blanket despite the warmth, a medic checking her vitals. She looked up when we entered, eyes finding her brother immediately. Dante. He crossed to her in 3 strides, pulling her into his arms. She broke then, the fire extinguished, just a scared girl who'd been dragged into a nightmare. Her sobs filled the space. I stayed by the door, suddenly feeling like an intruder in this moment. This was family, real family. Not whatever twisted thing Dante and I had become. I'm sorry, Dante murmured into her hair. Italian words I couldn't understand, but the tone was clear. Guilt. Relief. Love. The medic finished, packed his supplies, and nodded to me on his way out. Luca followed, leaving the 3 of us alone. Lucia pulled back from her brother, wiping her eyes. Then she looked at me. Really looked at me for the first time. You're the one they wanted, she said. Not an accusation, just fact. Yes, why? I glanced at Dante. He nodded slightly. Permission. My mother witnessed something years ago. They thought she'd told me secrets before she died. She didn't. But they didn't care. I moved closer slowly. I'm sorry you were pulled into this. I'm sorry they hurt you because of me. Lucia studied me for a long moment. You volunteered to trade yourself for me, of course. Why? You don't know me. I know what it's like to lose people. I couldn't let that happen to your brother. To you. I swallowed hard. Innocent people don't deserve to pay for other people's sins. Something shifted in her expression. She stood, walked to me, and did something I didn't expect. She hugged me. Thank you, she whispered. I hugged her back, tears burning my eyes. When she pulled away, she looked between Dante and me. So you're the reason my brother has been busy with business for 6 months. The reason he bought that restaurant. The reason he's been different. Lucia, Dante warned. It's okay. She smiled, tired but genuine. I've never seen you look at anyone the way you look at her. Even covered in blood and terrifying, you look at her like she's... She paused. Like she's everything. My heart stuttered. I'm going to stay at a hotel tonight, Lucia said, grabbing her jacket. You two need to talk. And I need to process the fact that my psychology degree did not prepare me for being kidnapped by the Russian mob. You're staying here, Dante said firmly. Guest room. Security is suffocating. She kissed his cheek. I'm fine. I have your men following me everywhere anyway. Let me have some space. I'll call you tomorrow. She left before he could argue further. The door clicked shut. Silence. Dante stood at the window, back to me, tension radiating from every line of his body. I could see it now. The cost of tonight. The fear he'd hidden behind cold efficiency. The cracks in his control. Dante, I almost lost you. His voice was raw, broken. When Alexei grabbed you, when that knife was at your throat, he stopped. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The only thing in my head was getting to you. Nothing else mattered. Not the plan, not the mission, not even Lucia. Just you. I crossed to him, placed my hand on his back. He was shaking. But you did get to me. I'm here. I'm safe. You shouldn't have had to do that. Risk yourself like that. He turned, and the look in his eyes stole my breath. You're everything, Ara. Everything. And I can't do this casually. I can't keep you here as a prisoner and pretend it's just about protection. I can't. Then don't. He stared at me. Don't keep me as a prisoner, I said quietly. Don't pretend it's just protection. Don't hold back whatever you're feeling because you think I can't handle it. What are you saying? I took his face in my hands, forcing him to see me. Really see me. Saying, I don't want to be your captive anymore, Dante. I want to be your partner. Your equal? I want to know your world, understand your life, stand beside you, not behind you. My voice strengthened, saying somewhere between the restaurant and tonight, between you watching me and me seeing you, I stopped wanting to leave. Ara, I'm saying I'm in love with you. And it might be Stockholm Syndrome or trauma bonding or 1,000 other psychological explanations. But I don't care. It's real to me. You're real to me. His hands covered mine, pressing them harder against his face. I've been in love with you since month 2, he whispered. When I watched you give your dinner to a homeless man outside the diner. You went hungry that night so someone else wouldn't. And I knew I was completely irrevocably lost. He kissed me then, not claiming, not possessing, just loving. And when he pulled me toward the bedroom, when we fell into each other with desperate need and tender reverence, the last locks dissolved. I wasn't his captive. I was his choice. And he was mine. Morning light filtered through the windows, painting Chicago in shades of gold. I woke wrapped in Dante's arms, his heartbeat steady beneath my ear. For the first time since he'd taken me, I didn't feel trapped. I felt home. You're thinking too loud, he murmured, voice rough with sleep. I'm negotiating. His eyes opened, ice blue, finding mine. A smile tugged at his lips. Of course you are. I sat up, pulling the sheet with me. If we're doing this, really doing this, things have to change. I'm listening. I'm not your prisoner anymore, which means the locks come off. I come and go as I please. With security? Fine. But not as a captive. Agreed. I want my own life, my own identity. I want to go back to school, maybe business, maybe law, something that's mine, that you don't control. Done. I'll have my assistant arrange enrollment wherever you want. I blinked. You're agreeing very quickly, because I told you last night I don't want a captive. I want a partner. He sat up, taking my hand. What else? I want to be involved in your world. Not the violent. I'm not asking to attend mob hits, but the business, the decisions that affect us. I don't want to be kept in the dark about dangers I need to know about. His jaw tightened. Some things are better left unknown, no. No more protecting me from information. I'm not fragile, Dante. I survived 3 jobs, poverty, my mother's death, a kidnapping, and being used as bait for the Russian mob. I can handle knowing what you do. He studied me for a long moment. You'll hear things that will change how you see me. Then I'll see you clearly. Isn't that what you wanted? For someone to really see you? Something vulnerable flickered across his face. Yes. Then show me. All of it. The good, the bad, the ugly. Let me decide if I can live with it. And if you can't, I squeezed his hand. Then we deal with that, honestly. But don't make that choice for me. He nodded slowly. Anything else? I want to do something meaningful. I want to start a foundation. Help women like me trapped in poverty, drowning in debt, invisible to the world. Give them resources, education, ways out. I'll fund it. Whatever you need. I don't want your money. You're not asking for it. I'm offering it. There's a difference. He pulled me closer. You want to save people, Ara. That's who you are. Let me help you do that. It doesn't make you less independent. It makes us partners working towards something good. I wanted to argue, but he was right. Pride wouldn't help the women who needed what I could offer. Okay. But I run it. I make the decisions. Absolutely. And one more thing. Name it. I took a breath. If we're doing this, building a life together, I need to not be a secret. I need to not be hidden away like something shameful. You want to meet the organization, be acknowledged as mine publicly. As yours, I corrected, not your property, your partner, my wife. The word hung in the air between us. My heart stopped. What? Dante reached into the nightstand drawer, pulled out a small velvet box. Opened it. Inside, a sapphire ring. Deep blue stone, surrounded by diamonds. Breathtaking. I had this made 3 months ago, he said quietly, when I accepted that watching you wasn't enough anymore. When I knew I'd eventually take you one way or another. And when I did, when you were finally mine, I'd ask you properly. Dante, I know it's fast. I know we've done everything backward and wrong. I know you should probably run screaming. He took my hand. But I've never been more certain of anything. Marry me, Ara, not because of debts or danger or protection. Marry me because when I look at you, I see my future. Marry me because you're the only person who's ever made me want to be better than what I am. Tears blurred my vision. That's not fair. I'm supposed to be negotiating, not crying. Is that a yes? I looked at the ring, at his face, at the life stretching before us, complicated, dangerous, real. I have conditions. He laughed, the sound warm and genuine. Of course you do. Lucia is my maid of honor. Non-negotiable. Done. We get a dog. A rescue. Something small and scrappy that needs saving. I'm allergic to. He stopped at my expression. We're getting a dog. And you stop trying to control everything. You'll let me make my own mistakes, my own choices, live my own life beside you. Not behind you. Not as an extension of you. Beside you, Ara. He cupped my face. That's all I've ever wanted. Then yes, I'll marry you. He slid the ring onto my finger. It fit perfectly. Like everything else about us, wrong in theory, perfect in practice. Mrs. Moretti, he murmured against my lips. Not yet. And when I am, it's Ara Monroe Moretti. I'm keeping my name, negotiating even now. Always. He kissed me, and I kissed him back, tasting our future complicated. Dangerous, and completely, irrevocably ours. The lecture hall at Northwestern buzzed with pre-class chatter. I sat in the third row, laptop open, notes from last week's business law session displayed on the screen. Around me, 22-year-olds complained about parking and weekend plans. I smiled. 6 months ago, I couldn't have imagined this. Being one of them, being normal. Mrs. Moretti. Professor Chan called from the front. Monroe Moretti, I corrected automatically. Some battles were worth fighting. Right, sorry. Can you stay a few minutes after class? I want to discuss your paper on ethical business practices in high-risk industries. Of course. The girl next to me, Emma. Prelor leaned over. You're so lucky you married rich. I'm drowning in student loans if she only knew. But that was the point. Here I wasn't a mafia wife, I was just Ara. Student. Foundation director. Woman building her own life. After class, Professor Chun praised my paper, suggested I consider law school, asked if I'd guest lecture next semester on non-profit management. I agreed to all of it, feeling that familiar thrill of being seen for my mind, my work, my choices. Yuri waited outside the building, less conspicuous now in jeans and a polo instead of his usual suit, but still unmistakably a bodyguard. "Good class?" he asked in his thick accent. "Great class. Home?" Mr. Moretti requested the foundation office first. "He has something to show you." 20 minutes later, we pulled up to a renovated brownstone in Lincoln Park. The sign out front read, "Phoenix Rising Foundation, Empowering Women. Transforming Lives, My Foundation, My Dream Made Real." Inside, the space hummed with activity. Women at computers, on phones, in consultation rooms. We'd helped 63 women in 6 months. 63 lives changed. Job training, debt counseling, housing assistance, education grants. Dante stood in my office, looking absurdly out of place among the inspirational posters and vision boards. But his smile when he saw me was genuine. "You're early," I said, kissing him hello. "Couldn't wait." He gestured to the window. "Look, across the street, another building, scaffolding, construction crews. A banner, coming soon, Phoenix Rising Housing, safe, affordable homes." I turned to him, eyes wide. "You didn't. 12 units, fully furnished. Subsidized rent based on income. Priority for foundation clients." He pulled me close. "You said you wanted to help women escape poverty. Housing is the foundation of escape." "Dante, I couldn't find words. That's millions of dollars. It's an investment. In them. In you. In the future we're building." He tucked hair behind my ear. "Besides, it's good for my image. Philanthropist mob boss. It's very modern." I laughed, then kissed him properly. "Thank you for making me want to build instead of just destroy." My phone buzzed. Text from Lucia. "Dinner tonight? Bring in the new boyfriend. Prepare, Dante, your sister wants dinner. She's bringing someone." Dante's expression darkened. "She's dating?" "She's 22. And you need to be normal about this." "I'll have him investigated, Dante." "Fine. Thorough background check only. No surveillance." "Better." We left together, Yuri trailing discreetly. The drive home took us past Mel's diner. I watched it through the window, the fluorescent lights, the tired servers, the life I'd escaped. "Regrets?" Dante asked, following my gaze. I thought about the girl who'd spilled wine 6 months ago. Exhausted, invisible, drowning slowly in a life that was killing her. Not one. At the penthouse, our penthouse now, redecorated with my input, filled with our life together, we were greeted by chaos. A small scruffy terrier mix bounded toward us, barking frantically. Pepper, rescued from a kill shelter 3 months ago. Dante's nemesis. My baby. "Your monster destroyed another pair of shoes," Dante said, but he was already crouching down, letting Pepper lick his face. "Our monster. I'm severely allergic. You're mildly allergic and you take antihistamines." I scooped up Pepper. "Besides, she loves you. Look at that face. She's manipulative, like her mother." I laughed, set Pepper down, and moved into Dante's arms. Through the windows, Chicago spread out beneath us. The city where I'd been invisible, where I'd almost disappeared entirely. Now I stood in the light, seen and loved and powerful in my own right. "I need to prep for the board meeting tomorrow," I said. "The expansion proposal later." He pulled me closer. "Right now I just want to hold my wife, fiancé. We're not married yet. 3 weeks. Then you're stuck with me forever." "Good." I looked up at him, this dangerous man who'd watched me for months, who'd kidnapped me, who'd chosen me over everything, because I'm planning on forever. He kissed me, soft and sure. And in that moment I understood the truth. He hadn't taken me that night at Vincenzo's. He'd woken me up. And I'd been watching him right back for the last 6 months, learning him, loving him, choosing him with every sunrise. The difference was simple. I wasn't planning escape anymore. I was planning our future. Together.